The last part of this section is to use our graphs to solve these equations. The solutions to a quadratic equation are called roots, or you might also see them called zeros or x-intercepts. That's all the same thing, just different names. So in this example, it says graph your parabola or graph your quadratic and then find the solutions. So once we graph it, what we're going to be doing is looking for where the graph hits the x-axis because those are our x-intercepts. So let's go ahead and practice our graphing in standard form. Remember, first we're going to find our y-intercept, and that's going to be the last number there, which was -3. And then we can go ahead and find our axis of symmetry. That would be x is equal to opposite of b, so we've got a is 1, b is 2, c is -3. So -2 over 2 times +1, which is going to get us a -1. So we can go ahead and graph that line in here at -1. And then to find the vertex, remember we take that axis of symmetry value and we plug it into our equations. We know x is going to be -1, and if I plug -1 in there, I'm going to get -1 squared plus 2 times -1 minus 3. So 1 minus 2 minus 3. -1 minus 3 is -4. So our vertex is at -1, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then remember we have symmetrical sides. So my y-intercept was 1 away, so the other side will just be 1 point away. And then maybe I plug in some extra points real quick. Let's say I wanted to plug in the point +1 for the x and maybe or +2. If I plug in +1, I get 1 plus 2 minus 3. So that's 3 minus 3, which is 0. So the point 1, 0, which would mean it match on the other side. And actually I don't even need my other points because now I have 5 and I can go ahead and graph. So there's my graph, and remember we just said that the solutions to a quadratic are called the roots, or where the x-intercepts are. So I've got to look at where my graph hits my x-axis, and the only place that it hits the x-axis are at the 2 points that I plotted here and here. So if I want my solutions, I would say that my solutions are at x equals -2 and at x equals +1. Or you could write them, if I wanted what the ordered pairs were, you'd say -2, 0 and +1, 0. So there are my two solutions, and I'd be done. Now, not every graph has two solutions. Sometimes there'll be only one solution. Sometimes there could be no solution. If your graph never hits the x-axis, then you won't have any solutions. It just depends on where the graph is located and the direction that it's going. So if you have any questions about the graphing, I'd go back and re-look at your notes or ask me in class and I can guide you through those. And just make sure you know the name of the solutions to a quadratic would be either roots, zeros, or x-intercepts. You could see a mixture of those words throughout your practice problems. That's it for today. Thanks for listening.